Hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, a fun little tray puzzle. Well, on this week's show, I thought I would do another scrap wood project, and this one has been sitting kind of on the back burner for a little while, and it's just a fun little puzzle that for the most part can be done on the scroll saw. So it's a fairly easy and simple project, and it just starts out with a little bit of layout at the bench. Well, to start off with, I have found a scrap of 1/2-inch ply that was up in the rack. There's several of them up there that I will use for this project, and you can make it out of whatever species or type of wood you want, whether it's plywood or solid stock. That is totally up to you. There is 9 different pieces that we need to make here, and the best way that I think to be able to explain and for you to be able to cut them out is I have drawn a grid here that consists of 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch squares. And as long as you know where to cut the 3/4 inch by 3/4 inch squares, then you will be able to cut all the pieces. So I'm going to run through a couple of the pieces here, and then I'll cut them, and then we'll do the next group, and we'll carry on like that until we get all 9 done. So why don't we do them in groups of 3? So the first piece that you need to cut will consist of 3 of these squares, and it's a very simple piece to cut just like that. So cut around those lines, and that is piece number 1. Piece number 2 consists of 2 of these squares side by side to form one piece that is 3/4 of an inch by 1.5 inches long, and that is piece number 2. And for piece number 3, we kind of have a bit of an L shape here, but it's a stubby L as it only involves 3 of the 3/4 inch squares. So that will be piece number 3. So let's get those 3 pieces cut out, and then we'll move on to the next ones. Well, the good thing about this project is that you can pretty much make it out of the one piece because we're using a number 3 scroll saw blade, which has a very thin kerf, and therefore we don't have to worry about loss of length or anything like that due to the kerf. So we'll cut out piece number 1. And then piece number 2. And then piece number 3. Now I'll just show you a little bit of a technique here. Instead of having to come in all the way from this side and scroll right across, if you have waste area here, you can just cut out a little notch like this. And then once you have that notch cut out, you can freely reline your blade and cut the last of the piece, still retaining that nice sharp corner in there. And there we have piece number 3. So piece number 4 is a fairly simple one. It's already pretty much cut out for you, and it's right here along these edges. Then from there we can cut out piece number 5, and that will look just like this. And again, that's no big deal. This edge is already cut, so you can just come along and do those pieces. And the last piece here in our next group of 3 will be piece number 6 that will look something like this. And we just want to cut that out and be done with it. So let's head over to the scroll saw and we'll cut these 3 pieces. Well, as I said, piece number 4 is pretty easy because it's already pretty much cut out for you. So let's just get that finished up. and that would be piece 5. And that there is piece 6. And you know what, guys? I accidentally showed you piece 4 incorrectly. It should actually be this way around. No big deal. We'll just cut a new one. We could use this. After all, I mean, you don't know what side it's supposed to be on, and we could mix and match them up. But I think I'd like, when the puzzle is done, for all the same color faces to be on the top, because you can see this is a little darker here. So I'm going to recut this piece. So what we really need for this will be this configuration. So let's cut that out. There we go. That's better. Piece 4. Well, the next piece of the puzzle will look just like this. And it's not that difficult to cut. Again, they're pretty simple cuts, and as long as you are aware of blade drift, you should have no problems at all cutting them. So there we go. That there is piece number 7. We'll follow that up with piece number 8, which looks just like this, and we'll bring it into the middle here and carry it on through. Now, piece number 9, I'm going to have to draw out a new grid, but I'll show you what it looks like, and it basically looks just like this. So let's head over to the scroll saw and we'll get these cut up. And there we have piece number 7. And just like that is piece number 8. And the final piece, piece number 9. So now with all 9 pieces of the puzzle cut, we can put those aside and work on something else here, and that will be the base for the puzzle. And for that, I've cut a piece of the same 1/2" ply, and I have cut it to be 4 9/16 by 4 9/16. And this will be the base for our puzzle and where we put it together. Now, because I have some scraps of 1/2" ply, and I just want to kind of use them up. I mean, I don't have a use for a piece like this normally. We're going to cut 1" strips of 1/2" ply, and I'm going to build a frame all the way around this to kind of make it like a box. So I'm going to cut them, as I said, 1 inch wide, and that will allow for our pieces to fit inside. I may actually go a little less than that, maybe 3/4, just to give us an edge to pull pieces out. So yeah, let's do that instead. Let's go 3/4 wide, and we'll build a frame, 45ing or mitering all the corners. And then when we get those pieces cut, I'll come back and see you. Well, I changed up my design just a little in the way that I added a rabbet to the frame. By doing that, I had to increase the size of my base. It's a 1/4 inch deep rabbet, so I had to increase this, of course, by 1/2 inch, 1/4 on either side. So I've cut all my frame pieces here, and I just did that at the table saw. And all I'm going to do is glue this together, and we're going to run some masking tape around the outside edges to hold it in place until the puzzle frame dries. And now we'll just let that dry up. Well, while we're waiting for this frame to dry, we'll go back to our pieces, and we just want to take a little light sanding to them to take off any burrs that there might be from the scroll saw. Now I used a reverse tooth bit, so there really isn't that many. So I'm just giving it a very light sanding. We don't want to lose that crisp edge, but we also don't want any burrs on it either. Now once we're done that, I was looking at these lines that are on the pieces and I thought, I gotta erase all of those. And then I thought, you know what, it's kind of a cool design element. I kind of like that grid thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wood burner and I'm going to trace back over all of those lines, and I'm also going to burn the edges of each of the pieces so that when the puzzle is actually put together, you end up with a grid, a 6x6 grid of your little 3/4 inch squares. Okay, just like that. So you guys don't need a video of me burning every single one of these pieces, but you get the idea. I'm going to burn them all and I'll see you when I'm done. And there we go, all 9 pieces, all wood burned. I don't know, you don't have to do this step obviously, but as far as I'm concerned, I kind of dig it. I think it looks cool. And once your frame is dry, the last thing to do is just remove the masking tape and just give the frame a good sanding. And from there, you just got to figure out how to put the puzzle together. And there you have it. A wooden puzzle made on the scroll saw. Guys, whether you are a beginner to woodworking or whether you are a seasoned veteran, it doesn't really matter. This puzzle has some validity in that it really helps to improve your scrolling skills. Following a straight line on a scroll saw, believe it or not, is not the easiest thing to do. Blade drift takes into account and likes to veer off that line. So it's a great way to practice. Of course, the scroll saw is not the only way to make this project, and if hand tools is your gig, then by all means, why not use like a little gent saw or a razor saw and cut your pieces out very carefully in using that method. Perfectly fine. How about different species of wood? If you have several stock or pieces of stock that are the same thickness, let's say you have a whole bunch of different little small pieces of 1/2 inch thick walnut, maple, cherry, that sort of thing. Make the different pieces out of different species. Make the base out of solid wood. Route out that little platform where the frame went around instead of building the frame. If routing is your thing, then here you go. This project opens itself up to many different methods of woodworking that you don't have to do it like I do it. It's just giving you the idea and putting it out there that this project could be the one for you. Guys, I obviously did not give the solution to this puzzle during the video because there are those of you that may want to figure it out on your own, and that is just fine. If that is your cup of tea, then wait till after I'm done talking here and I'm going to show you the solution to the puzzle. But for now, guys, please, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Click the bell so that you don't miss notifications of future episodes of the program. I hope you've had as much fun today on the show as what I've had bringing it to you. I hope you're going to try this project for yourself, and I also hope that you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another woodworking video. Okay, so for the solution, I will use the numbers of the pieces as I gave them to you when we cut them at the scroll saw. So starting in the bottom corner here is piece number 5, followed by piece number 4, just like that. Piece number 6 goes right here. Piece number 9 in the bottom right corner, followed by piece number 1. Next in place is piece number 3. Then piece number 7. Number 2. And the final piece being piece number 8. And there we have it. There is the solution to the puzzle.